Hi, seventh grade. Okay, so we're going to go over the second part of your two-column note questions. So the first question was for a chart on page 306 that outlined how Adams won the presidency. So the things you really should have looked at to figure this out was the fact that on this chart right here, there really is no overwhelming majority. Okay, Jackson and Adams are pretty close when it comes to the number of votes they got in the Electoral College, but by order of the Constitution, you needed to have somebody with a majority to win. So therefore, it went to the House of Representatives, and then the House of Representatives voted by state, and each state got one vote. So what ended up happening is they had to vote for between Adams, Jackson, and Clay. Now, people decided, a lot of Clay supporters decided that they wanted to vote for Adams, and therefore what ended up happening was Adams ended getting most votes as compared to Jackson or Crawford. So that is why Adams ended up winning the election of 1824. Now, if we go to your notes, I have a detailed description of what that is up here, so you can refer to that later. But we are going to go to the next question, which is, what did Adams believe the government should do? And he believed that the government should promote economic growth, that they should pay for canals and roads, and that they should promote the arts and sciences. So meaning, have a bigger role in education. Now, there was a huge conflict between Jackson and John Quincy Adams, and the thing that arose out of this were new political parties. So, in reality, we have a new political party called the Whig Party, which was created by Henry Clay. Now, the Whigs believed that the federal government should promote business by paying for roads and canals, that there should be overseas banks, and that there should be higher tariffs, which is a tax on imported goods. Now, the Whigs had most of their strong support in the Northeast, where you have a lot of industrialized factories up there. But they had little support in the South and the West, which was Clay and Jackson's domain. Now, tariffs, I already told you, are taxes that are placed on imported goods. And a lot of people who supported the Whigs were Eastern factory owners, businessmen, and former Federalists. So people who were part of the Federalist Party. Now, Jackson ended up being the leader of the other political party that became popular during the time, and that is the foundation of today's Democratic Party, although a lot of the stuff they believe in is still very different. Democrats back then, during Jackson's time, believed in more political power for ordinary white men like Jackson himself, and they opposed privileges for the wealthy and educated. They also opposed tariffs. They didn't think that they were necessary at all. And they were true believers in manifest destiny, which is the belief that the United States should stretch from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean. Most people who supported the Democrats were poor, farmers, and hard blue-collar labor workers. And then, so after 4 years passes, we have a new election in 1828. It is still between Andrew Jackson and John Quincy Adams. Jackson supporters believe that John Quincy Adams was corrupt and they often attacked him for being a member of the upper class. And they didn't like the fact that the upper class was tending to have a bigger say in American politics, which is why they enjoyed Jackson so much, because he seemed to be a regular guy just like them. And a lot of John Quincy Adams supporters said that Jackson was dangerous, that he was a military chieftain, and they warned that Jackson would become a dictator. And later on, a lot of them ended up calling him King Andrew for the fact that they believed he had too much control. But in reality, the common man won, and Andrew Jackson did win the election of 1828. Now, this election was an extremely important election in United States history because it was the first time that the common people were able to voice their political opinion in politics. And this is why it was so important. It gave them the opportunity, if they wanted a common man like Andrew Jackson in, it meant that their vote did count. So this was an extremely, extremely, extremely important time for the common man in American history. Okay, so I hope this helped explain things a little bit more for you. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.